I'm a first-generation college student. My parents are immigrants, and they never went to college. I grew up in a very low-income, small beginnings background. There was something so surreal about being on campus every day, and I think just walking across the lawn and seeing Healy Hall every single day, like that's the part that really stands out to me. I was living the American dream, that I had made my ancestors proud, that I made it here. But one of the events that stood out the most to me was there is a woman, she is a Nigerian writer and a well-known feminist. Her name is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And she has always been one of my favorite writers. And so there was a professor in the African Studies department I had contacted because I heard that he had a nephew who was friends with Chimamanda's nephew or something, like some extended connection. And I had reached out to him, and he and I had met, and he ended up kind of being a mentor to me, even though I never took a class with him. So then months later, it turns out that Miss Adichie already had plans to visit Georgetown. And before they had even announced that she was visiting, this professor had put in a word to President DeGioia and specifically asked to let me attend. So I got contacted with a ticket to not only attend her talk, but to attend the dinner after the talk with President DeGioia and with a bunch of faculty from African Studies. And it was, to this day, one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. I remember when we left the dinner, my friend and I sat in front of Healy Hall, and we had this moment sitting on the stoop outside, and we were like, this is not real life. This is something that you can only experience being a graduate student at Georgetown. Sometimes you have days where it's like, it's hard to be a woman in a position of power anywhere. And then you have days where you're like, it's worth it. So I was a part of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences, and my program was called Communication, Culture, and Technology. It is an interdisciplinary program in the graduate school. I ended up studying mass incarceration and the prison industrial complex. And Georgetown is an incredible place to do that research because there's so much work happening. I will never forget this. There was one woman in my program who told me that she wanted to be the Jane Goodall of AI. And she was studying the intersection of artificial intelligence with sex. Another person in my program who was studying conservation of bees. And another woman in my program who is studying fandoms. What does it mean for a movie or a TV show to be a cult classic? This is why I came to grad school. This is why I wanted higher education, because I missed these stimulating, energizing experiences. The way that we all fell under this umbrella was that we were really taught to think outside of kind of the traditional structure of what it means to know something and to seek knowledge, and that studying or researching or the world on a macro level is not linear and it's not binary. And I don't think I would find that support for overlap and interdisciplinarity anywhere else other than Georgetown and other than CCT. I was the very first woman to be the president of graduate students at Georgetown. Even in the time that maybe there had been a student in the room, it was never a woman, and it was certainly never a woman of color. But we wanted to make sure that advocacy was a bigger part of graduate student government, and we wanted to focus more on what were the graduate students' needs and how could we help graduate students have a better experience at Georgetown. And so part of the advocacy of GradGov was making sure that graduate students didn't feel like they were invisible. And I was really proud of that. And I fully believe after my time in GradGov that graduate students are the backbone of most academic institutions. We really put a huge focus on a campaign to get free feminine hygiene products in all of the public restrooms on campus. We want this to be available to students, and it's not a graduate issue. It's not. It's a human issue. In the beginning, we got a little bit of pushback and said, okay, we'll do corded machines. And we were like, nope. If you already had those machines, then I understand it would be difficult to transition to a world where product is free, but no. If you want that product to be something that we have to pay for, then I want you to also make us pay for toilet paper. So by the time I left in 2018, there were more than 40 machines in bathrooms all around campus. We created this 10-year vision before we left about we want them to be in every restroom, every public restroom. They need to be in all bathrooms. One of the things that made me most proud about my time at Georgetown, but honestly, one of the things that makes me most proud that I worked on in my entire life.